Welcome guys back to the channel. It's your guy Mighty Gideon, and in this very video today I'll be taking this account from $7 to $7,000 trading forex. And currently at the very point we're making huge profits in the trade we took in BTC USD at the very point. If you go over here, you see that the trade we took in BTC USD is buying massively and giving us huge profit at this very point. The trade we took in BTC USD is giving us huge profits at this very point. And now, okay, currently I'll be closing this very trade at this profit, and I'll be analyzing our next trade to give us huge profits in our next trade. Now let's close our trade in profit from $7. We're currently up in $27.85 at this very point. So if you watch here, I'm trying to delete all these charts to clarify you, to analyze on my trade, because all these analysis I'm following to flip the account to a mighty height. The mighty height in this very video today is $7,000 at this very point. So if you watch this very trade here, there are two zones that the trade have been identified. There are two zones the trade have been identified. The trade identifies the upper zone at this very point. This is the upper zone at this very point, which is the resistance, and also this zone here is the lower zone, which is the support at the very point. I think it's coming from the resistance zone, and everybody is seeing the trade is going to the support zone. That's what everybody is seeing, but that's not what I'm seeing. Also watch here, as a very big zone I'm seeing at this very point. Like I'm showing you my analysis on the MS strategy, the mighty strategy at this very point, for you to understand what I'm doing now and for me to continue selling to $7,000. Follow me step by step and see how I'm doing it. You can do it too, okay? At this very point, if you watch here, you can see that there's a very strong layer at this very area here. There's a very strong layer at this very point. At this very point here, there's a very strong layer there, and this very zone is going to push up to tap into this layer here. It's going to push up to tap into that layer, because the trades need to retest at a resistance zone to keep pulling back or to break out. So currently you need to reach here, so a lot of people can decide whether with the thing keep buying or with the thing sell at that very point. And if you also watch, it's also mapped out at this very point here. You get? So if you watch at this very point, you can see there are two zones there. There are two zones there at that very point. You're seeing the two zones there. You can see this down zone here going up to this upper zone there. That's what the trade is showing at that very point. You get? That's what they're showing. The trade is vividly showing here. And if you zoom into lower time frames, you can see the trade is just gradually approaching to that layer. It's gradually approaching to that layer, and I'm going to expect it to retest to that very point. So currently I've entered my buys at this very point, increasing it to 0.03 lot size. I've entered my buys now at this very point. Enter my buys now. Enter my buys now. At that very point, you get, we have entered our buys now with 0.03 lot size. We entered our buys to push it up. If the trade push up to this zone here, to this upper zone here, we want a push out in that upper zone here. I'll just measure this very two here, measure this very my measurement to with that very point. I'm expecting it to push up to that very point. That very point, that is what I'm expecting this trade to do. That is how we take our analysis at every given period of time. That's how we take our analysis at every given period of time. So we're expecting the trade from this very point to push out to that upper zone there. That is what we took now, and let's watch this very trade and see how we take it down to a mighty height. Let's enter on with 0.01 or so. Let's enter more buys. Okay, the time is not enough money. Okay, so let's watch and see XUSD give us our money now. Okay, mighty height. Okay, let's go. So guys, at this very point, the trade is currently buying, but it's wasting time, and I don't have time to rest when I'm trading. I'll just be closing all trades, and I'm doing this very thing to gather capital, because the more capital I'm gathering in my trades, the more I can be increasing my lot size to be trading to a mighty height. That's what I recommend when you're flipping a small account, because small accounts are babies that are meant to be pampered when trading. So currently the trade does pushed giving us its profit. That was a very big massive push from this very point. That was a very big massive push from this very point. Trade does pushed to that very point now. And currently now I'll be closing out trade in profit, close up positions at this very point. This trade should close and let me currently we're up in $33.60 at this very point, because I'm doing this thing to gather capital one and to continue flipping my account to a mighty height. That is what I'm going to do. That is what I'm going to do, because most times there are a lot of currency pairs in this chart here. There is XAUSD, there is BTCUSD, there is USDJPY, there is GBPUSD. There are different currency pairs that can make you profitable, that you can take your trades and give you huge profit. And if you watch here, this very trade is going to continue buying at this very point. It's going to continue buying and be giving huge profit at that very point. It's going to keep buying at that very point. So at the very point, I'll be entering my next trade, increasing to 0.05 lot size. But I'm entering on a buy. I know my aim, but I'll close and continue to that very point. Entering on a buy. This is a bullish momentum. The trade is currently on a bullish momentum. These buys must occur at the very point. I'm just trading this trade, showing you how everything is working. Our target is currently at this very point here. We close to increase our lot size, because the more lot size you have, the more capital you will make. And this account is from $7 to $7,000, and we need to strategize well. Yeah, and if you watch here, a lot of people have taught you that when the trade creates an MO pattern, the trade will start selling. Is two if only it's at the resistance zone, you get. And if you watch here, see where the resistance zone is. They told you the trade creates an MO pattern to start selling, but since it have not reached the resistance zone, it's going to keep on buying. And at this very point, at this very tip here, a lot of sellers will be entering at that very tip there, but it have not yet reached the resistance zone. So currently it will just be pushing to buy and the rest. So currently at the very point, I'm closing out trade in profit. I'm currently up in $35.76 at the very point. So taking it gradually. Let's enter flip mode. So currently from the very point, you took a buy position XUSD and making huge profit at that very point. This trade showed some signal which signifies a massive buy at the very point. And currently I'm closing out trades in profit at the very point. I'm currently up in $104.91 at the very point in our trade. And currently I'm entering more positions because the trade is meant to buy and give us huge profits. I'll be entering more positions because our target is to increase the account from $7 to $7,000. So currently I've entered more buy positions at the very point. I'm expecting to buy further because the trade is on a buying momentum and the buying momentum must be actualized. So currently the trade is currently buying further and giving us huge profit at this very point. We have taken account to something profitable and we're going gradually to reach our target of $7,000 at this very point. And if you watch, you can see the buying momentum in this very trade. You can see the analysis which showcase the buying momentum. At the very point, I'm closing out trades in profits. And currently, at the very point, the trade I've bought massively. I'm going to up in $173.71 at the very point. So guys, at the very point, we entered our next trade on BTCUSD, and currently we're making profit on BTCUSD. It is currently going in that direction at this very point. And let me tell you the reason why I entered this very trade on BTCUSD and the reason why I'm making massive profits at a sell position on BTCUSD. And follow me as I analyze this very trade and see the reason why I'm making huge profit at this very point. If you watch here at this very point, there was a very big overall resistance zone at this very area. It created a very big resistance zone at that very point, and also there was a very big support zone at this very point. There was a very strong support zone that the trade created there. And if you also watch there, you can see that the trade currently broke out from the overall support zone in this very trade. You can see what happened here. At this very point, there was a very big breakout from there. There was a very big breakout from the support zone there. The trade tested, and currently we entered the trade at the retesting position, and the trade currently broke out and now started retesting from that very point. If you were, there was a very big breakout there. Before you take your trade in the right point, you need to analyze, make sure you map out your zone well so that you can identify the trades in the right direction. And also, if you zoom in, you can see that there was a very big strong zone that the trade created here. There's a very big zone there that the trade currently broke out from there, and that's the reason why the market is currently retesting from that very initial zone, and the trade may be going to retest these very points. Let me show you what the trade is going to go and retest. The trade will be going to retest this overall point here. It is going to retest this overall point here. So from there, you're going to retest there. That is the reason why I took that very trade, and I'm making huge profit. At this very point, I'm closing up positions in profit. Close up positions in profit. I'm currently up in $2,858.51 from a $7 account. At this very point, we are currently making profits, and our target is $7,000 for clients. We need to pass the very challenge and take account to a mighty high. That's the target at this very point. And all positions, the chart is showing me that the trade is currently going downwards, and most times it's very nice for you to know where the market is currently going to, so that you can be taking your trades and be making huge profits at that very point. And if you watch here, this market is going to break out from this very zone here. There's a very strong zone at this very point here. If you watch, there are two zones that I've mapped out from here. This very zone is the first zone, and this other zone here, the second zone at this very point here. Market will want to retest here and retest a little bit before continue pulling down or before continue pulling up, if the market don't want to break the support zone. If this market breaks the zone to go down, to keep pulling down a little bit, but if it breaks the resistance zone, to keep pulling up at this very point. So the market is going to retest this overall zone at this very point here. There's a very big retest here. So currently I'll be increasing my loss size to 0.8 loss at this very point. I'm entering my sell position at this very point on this BTC/USD. We're entering our sales from that very point because we're expecting massive sales at that very point. We're still seeing sales. The market is meant to show us more sales and keep pulling to our position, our position. I'm meant to make huge profits at this very point. At this very point, I'm meant to make huge profit at this very point. So stay tuned as we pass this very challenge. We take the account to a mighty height. I'm currently up in a little bit profit. The market will be going to retest this very zone here. Thus, market will be going to retest this very zone here. So when it goes there, it will reach there and break out a little bit before flying upwards. The market will break a little bit. I've been on the chart for long. I've known what the market do when the market reach a specific zone. And what the market will do, it will go there, break out, but the target is targeting this overall zone here. That is what the market is targeting, this overall zone here. So from that very point, let's watch and see how BTC/USD will take this account to a mighty height. Our targets must be achieved, and you must take the account to something very massive as promised. So currently, let's be going because we're going to pass this challenge at the right spot. Mighty heights, we always go. At the very point, the trade is currently selling down massively, and BTC/USD is giving us the profit we need at that very point. And currently, the analysis was a sniper entry in our direction. So at that very point, I'm closing out trade in profit. We close up positions at that very point. The market is still pulling up to that very zone. At that very point, you close out trade in profit. At the very point, with a balance of $4,260 in profit, we're mapping out our key zone and taking our trades on BTC/USD to show you how to make profit at the very point. Very easy. So if you they can see there's a very massive downward movement in the past. The market have been selling down massively, and from that very point, I'm after that very zone as a zone that the market is tending to target on the rest. That is the zone I mapped out at that very point. And also I also mapped out a very strong support zone at that very point. The trade will pulling up to that very first support zone, and if it breaks it, it's going over to the second support zone. If it breaks that zone, it's going over to the second support zone at the down point. Consequently, from the very point, I enter my sell position, because if you watch there, you can see what the trade is currently showing there. You can see that the trade is currently showing a selling momentum. So I entered my sell at that very point. I'm increasing my lot size 0.9 lot size. I'm entering my sell for the trade to target the first support zone at that very point. That is what I entered now. Let's take the trade to a mighty height. At the very point, you must pass this very challenge. This challenge must be passed, and this client must be happy and fulfilled. And let's take this account to a mighty height at the very point. So currently, the trade is currently giving us profit at this very point. We're making profits at the very point, and the trade is on a selling momentum. I plan to sell down massively and complete this very space to hit the overall support zone at that very point. So currently, at that very point, the trade is currently selling down massively. So let's watch and see what this trade has for us. I'm expecting massive pulls down. I'm expecting a drag downwards, so the trades can give us our profit at this very point. So let's watch and see what PTCSD has for us. At this very point, the trade is currently selling down massively and giving us huge profit as anticipated, and the insight was well. And currently I'll be closing out trades in profit. Close up positions, and currently we're up in $5,968.7 at the very point. At the very point of the very challenge, we have taken the account from a small account to a mighty height. $7 to $7,000 completed. And if you want to join my VIP signals, where I did drop daily signals, my academy, where I did drop my strategy of trading, the mighty strategy, live trading and the rest. And if you want account management to a mighty height, you can contact me via the link below in this very video. See you in my next video. Peace out.